distinguished panel who will be talking this afternoon's press conference and announcement. Katrina Chan, the director of QBO Innovation Hub. Rene Butch-Millie, president of the Philippine Disaster Resiliency Foundation, also the president of Ideaspace and QBO. Ms. Paulay Aliazar, Program Manager of the Inclusive and Sustainable Unit of the United Nations Development Program. And of course, Ms. Noya Tirada, Undersecretary of the Department of Trade and Industry. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's also please acknowledge the presence of Ms. Diane Eustaquio, Executive Director of Ideaspace. What role could your startup play in case of a disaster? If Facebook has Safety Check and Airbnb has Open Home Emergency Shelter, how can your startup integrate an innovative solution into your current platform? In what way can your startup come to the rescue? QBO, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, proudly presents Startups to the Rescue, a pitching competition happening during Slingshot ASEAN 2017, where startups can put forward their ideas to promote disaster preparedness and resilient recovery in times of crisis. Earthquake, hurricane, typhoon, war, conflict, volcanic eruption, pandemic, all of which we've probably already experienced in the Philippines. We've invited startups all across the ASEAN region to pitch their ideas and technological solutions to startups to the rescue. Before we get right to the competition, let's first talk about the startup ecosystem in the Philippines and how QBO Innovation Hub is changing the game. Our first speaker for today is currently QBO Philippines Director. With experience in corporate development, capital markets, and scaling startups, Katrina leads QBO's initiatives in developing a startup ecosystem in the country. She also serves as Ideaspace Associate Director for Strategy and Business Development. Let's all welcome Katrina Chan.
Hi everyone, I just want to introduce QBO a bit in a short video.
QBO? QBO?
It actually just stands for QBO, as in the Bahay Kubo. And yes, we do have our very own Bahay Kubo in our office.
Just like the Bahay Kubo, we stand for bayanihan or teamwork. Kubo is a place where the community can come together to help ideas flourish, showcase Filipino innovation, and build great companies. Filipino startups changing the world. That's our vision. We believe in building a globally competitive startup ecosystem right here in the Philippines. I mean, it's about time, isn't it?
But how do we do it? Let's ask for a pleasure.
QBO is the country's first venture at a physical space to help the startup ecosystem. It's a public-private sector partnership between JP Morgan Chase Foundation, Ideaspace Foundation, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the Department of Science and Technology.
Wait. Did you say public sector? The government? In the Philippines?
Yeah, so we're very supportive. We're proud to have a partner. We hope to inspire Filipinos to come and join and be part of this ecosystem. And we want to bring their dreams to reality. In the end, it's going to help themselves, it's going to help their employees, it's going to help this country.
What do we actually do?
Well, we do this, 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 and this. Whew, seriously, that was so tiring.
But you're missing one more thing. You also do this, the JP Morgan Incubation Program. QBO picks the top startups from all over the Philippines to be part of the incubating program, where they will receive dedicated mentorship, advanced professional services, created workshops and assistance from ideating to exiting. External party involvements include government agencies, the Philippine Stock Exchange, and major investors. There's a potential for global exposure as well.
Wow, we do a lot, don't we?
Yes, it's actually as simple as encourage collaboration, develop the community, and provide incubation. Oh gosh, we're so cute!
So, if you're interested to join our events or be part of any of our programs catered to startup development, all you have to do is
Sign up! Sign up! Sign up!
sign up.
Sign up!
And together,
Let's build
The Philippine
startup community!
So, once again, thank you everyone. I'm Kat Chan, one of your resident QDs here at Google. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you a little bit about what we do here in Kubo, as well as provide you with a little bit of background on Startups to the Rescue. So, Kubo is the Bahay Kubo with a Q, and you're standing in it right now. It's actually the first piece of furniture that we got when we started Kubo, and it serves to remind us of three things. The first is that this is a home for startups. The second is that you can be humble and scrappy and still make it big and go everywhere. And the third is really the ethos or the spirit behind Kubo, which is bayanihan. It's a word that's kind of difficult to translate, but it's really about the community coming together to achieve great things and doing it by everybody working together, right? And we were actually created out of a spirit of bayanihan. So of course, I would always like to acknowledge our partners in making Kubo come alive. Those being Idea Space, one of the Philippines' largest accelerators, JP Morgan, the Department of Trade and Industry, who's also our host here at Kubo, and the Department of Science and Technology. So what we actually do at Kubo, you'll actually find around you guys a bit more information about the programs and services, but it really all boils down to a few main things. It's encouraging collaboration, which is what we're doing now, right? So we have an amazing partnership with PDRF and the UNDP, and of course Slingshot to make this event happen. It's also developing the startup community through various programs, workshops, feedback sessions, what have you. And by providing incubation services to really take startups to the next level. So our goal with all of our programs is to help grow startups in the Philippines and help them change the world. So, we love startups here in Kubo, but why do we love them? What makes startups so cool and unique? Well, usually these are the things that people associate with startups, right? So startups move quickly, they're able to problem solve, they use innovation, they're able to scale. But I think the usual thing that you'll find in common with all startup founders is they say they want to change the world. They have this spirit and desire, right, to make a huge difference in people's lives. And maybe they're onto something, right? So there was a study last year that basically about 2/3 of the top 100 corporations are already engaging with startups. And it's not just your usual tech companies that maybe you would expect, but also guys like Campbell Soup, right? So maybe startups are onto something, and this method of pivoting and executing quickly and growth hacking is something that really could make a difference. So we wanted to test that, right? I mean, if you want a real problem, the Philippines has a lot of real problems. And, it's not just your photo filters and your dating apps. You see things like from Typhoon Haiyan, people looking for food, water, shelter, right? So we posited this challenge, and that's Startups to the Rescue. The real question is, can your startup come to the rescue? And we weren't just looking for startups who are already working in the disaster space, so to speak, but really any startup that had an idea for how they could make the world better and change it. And some examples we have are, Airbnb with their Open Homes program and the Facebook Safety Check that some of you may have already used. So neither of these companies are, disaster companies, so to speak, but they are able to make a difference in times of crisis. So the AHA Center also came up with these surveys. that are distributed to the guys on the ground who are really working in disaster situations, looking at what areas really needed innovation, what areas needed problem solving. And this is what they found. I'm not the subject matter on these things, but we did present this challenge to the startups and gave them information on what areas could your startup be innovating in. And when we asked the question, could your startup come to the rescue? Well, in 3 weeks, over 130 of them said yes and gave us their ideas for how they think their startups could make a difference. And today we'll actually be announcing, and I'm very excited to announce the top 20 finalists who will be presenting and exhibiting these solutions at Slingshot in October 20th. So these startups will have the opportunity to pitch for the 3 big prizes ranging from $2,000 to $10,000 and hopefully really do change the world, right? Which is our goal here.